Hello, folks, and welcome to 40 Going on 14. This week, we're diving into the 1988 flick Die Hard, and then the 2005?
Yes.
2005 Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So we've got that's coming up later in the show, and right now we are going to introduce ourselves. I am Mike.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Joel.
I'm Josh, and I've told the guys earlier I'm proud to be 17 weeks clean on myrrh. I haven't even taken a hit of frankincense in years. Rough stuff.
It's still funny.
How's the gold situation, though?
I think the gold situation is going to drive me back to the frankincense and myrrh. Lack thereof.
You were talking about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I heard their internet is remaking that. And they're going to call it Kiss Kiss Pew Pew. It's happening.
All right, so we got a phone call this week. We got a voicemail.
Yes.
From a person
who did not identify themselves, but he apparently likes our show and likes the holidays.
So that's great. So we're going to listen to that right now. See, here it goes.
Hi, guys. I'm a little bit behind. I'm catching up. I just wanted to say that you fucktards got the name of the movie wrong. It was not How the Mensch Stole Christmas. It was How the Mensch Saved a Bunch on Hanukkah. Boom. And Joel's one of the funniest men alive, if there were 7 men alive in the world. Kisses.
All right.
Who was that, Joel?
What was that?
Just let it go.
That was our caller, because it seems to be the same voice that we've gotten in the last couple
No,
times.
it's not. I'm not going to acknowledge that. No.
It was definitely not Kevin.
Nope. We're
Was
not
not
going to.
Kevin?
No, it's not Kevin.
So we have 2 callers.
It's not Charlie.
So if you would like to be in the caller club, which is now 2 strong, folks.
3.
I think that's 3, yeah.
3 strong, 3 strong.
I will say I like the trend that we're getting is every caller is sounding more and more like Mr. No-Nose. The voices are getting more.
So let's say if there were only 7 men in the world, Joel would be the funniest. So what would the other 6 men be?
Not in Michigan.
Harvey Firestein?
Stephen Hawking? Gandhi?
Henry Kissinger?
You already said. LBJ.
You are funnier than Henry Kissinger.
David Bowie?
And the rest would all be German prime chancellors.
No, I think David Bowie would be funnier than Joel.
Hey.
Yeah, he was in Zoolander. Joel was not.
That's true.
It's true.
But why male models?
Because we don't like
The library for ants.
Because we're perfect.
All right, so folks, if you want to join the caller club, which is now
3 strong.
3 people strong, please give us a call at 708-NOW-RAP. That's 708-669-9727. We'll put you on the air and answer your questions and
probably make fun of you.
Yeah, more than likely mock you.
Endure your abuse.
Yeah.
Yes. Or you can make fun of us, which is something we've gotten sadly familiar with.
We're really good at doing it ourselves.
So, anyway, so Patrick is on remote today, so if you haven't noticed that.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, tell us about
Little Rock.
In Little Rock, Arkansas.
Tell us about your internet, Pat.
Well, apparently U-verse is powered by goats here in Little Rock because I kept getting dropped all the time. So I now am the proud owner of a personal Wi-Fi hotspot.
Nice.
Yes.
And you're
where I go.
You've got your wireless Beats by Dre.
Yeah, I got it on the whole setup now. Yeah.
Are you signing up other Little Rockins to use your service since the internet is not there except in buckets at this point that they have to bring in?
No, I'm hogging it all for myself at the moment.
Yeah.
Neat.
His ad is going to be Pat's Wi-Fi service, no goats.
It's $25 for use, and if you can find something filthier on the internet that I haven't seen, then it's free.
Oh, did you just challenge me?
Oh, my God.
Did you just challenge me?
I want no part of this.
Oh.
I want no part of this, Joel.
Oh. That's the sound of my porn engine starting. Oh.
So, what happened this week in 1988?
I'm glad you asked, Josh. You really averted where the hell that was going. All right, this week in 1988, the movie Scrooge came out.
Woo!
Yay!
Which I just watched the other day.
Love that movie.
It's a great movie. I honestly say that holds up. Bill Murray is amazing in it. Bobcat Goldthwait is hilarious, and I think my personal favorite person in the whole thing has got to be Carol Kane.
Oh yeah.
That's in the quote, "That bitch hit me with a toaster." So
she was the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Ghost of Christmas Present. The one that would smack and abuse. I want to say that I really hope that was all made up on the fly. The two of them interacting, because it was too funny for it not to have been that scripted.
It's a classic.
It is. And then we've got television.
I was just going to say a stupid little trivia thing from Scrooged. The Ghost of Christmas Past was played by David Johansen, who also known as Buster Poindexter, and was also the lead singer of what band, Joel? Any idea?
Buster Poindexter?
Not Buster Poindexter, but David Johansen was the lead singer
Dolls.
of... There you go.
Hot.
The New York Dolls.
That was later, but...
That's enough of that.
Yeah.
I just had really bad wedding flashbacks there.
I'm doing the chicken dance.
I'm just doing the chicken.
And I'm drunk.
I'm not drunk. I'm drinking some sort of chocolate energy drink.
Did you know Mike's sweatpants have a zipper?
Yeah, they do.
It's weird.
Okay. And Hey Vern, It's Ernest was canceled this week in 1988 because apparently us as a nation all decided that, the whole Ernest thing was kind of stupid.
TV show based on a commercial based,
on a bunch of movies?
No, the commercial came first.
The commercials were first, yeah.
Yeah, and then the movies, and then the TV show, I think, is how it went.
So it was a commercial first? Was that what...
No, commercial was first. It's like the Hey Jacko commercials.
It was just it was a regional thing, actually. And he was just doing some character that was telling his buddy about all these deals he was getting going through some company or something, and
coming through the window. He's like, "Hey, Vern."
Yeah.
And then
Ernest P. Worrell.
Finger slammed in the window. I told you guys before the show, but I've got a book my mom gave me that was for kids, but it was like Ernest's big book of knowledge. And it's all
like
knowledge.
3 pages long.
It's entertaining, but it's not unlike the Energizer commercials that had Jacko, the Australian guy that would go "Oi," and then he got his own TV show called The Highwayman where he'd go "Oi," and he'd solve crimes in his big street fighting truck.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah,
street fighting truck.
Yeah,
well, how recently have we done it? We had the Geico Caveman had a sitcom 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that.
Yep, very true.
It was actually kind of funny too. It wasn't horrible.
One of them's name
better than According to Jim. Let's put it that way.
All I know about Ernest is that my father drugged the family to the theater to see Ernest Scared Stupid on opening night.
What did he drug you with?
Yeah. We woke up and I'm just like, oh my god. No, we.
Dad, this hand tastes like codeine.
That was another version of your dad punking your family.
Yeah.
I remember going to see Ernest Goes to Camp. I was excited to see that movie in the theater.
Oh, that I thought that was hilarious.
Explains a lot.
Great.
Ernest Goes to South Central.
Well, how many were there? There was Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Scared Stupid, Ernest Goes to Court, Ernest Goes to Jail.
Ernest Goes to Paternity Suit.
Ernest in the Army, Ernest Goes to Africa.
Christmas.
Yeah, Ernest Rides Again.
Yep. Although
they look cute. Ernest Goes to Pamplona.
Apparently he was very earnest.
Here we go, hang on.
Though they look cute and cuddly, don't ever do this to a family of badgers.
That passed for comedy in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
What a glorious time to be a comedy writer.
I know, God.
Just throw some shit at the screen. Yep, okay, sure.
All right. So all you 90s and 2000 people, if you're listening, can feel superior. Also, the most number one board game of Christmas time in 1988 was Scattergories.
Yay!
Yay!
That is a fun game.
It is a fun game. I like word games.
Is that the one with the die?
Yeah, the die with all the letters on it.
Yeah, the 20-sided die with 20 different letters. You got the different categories, and you roll the die and figure out what letter. And everybody's got to come up with,
Pat, they were scattergories.
Yeah, scattergories. Yeah,
not categories. Yeah. Scattergory.
Yeah, my wife's family plays Scattergories a lot, and I'm not very good at it.
Is that the German Scheisse game?
No.
What?
Scattergories?
He's making the scat joke, yes.
Scattergories, yes. That's.
Yes.
I
was actually playing it the other day, and I had an answer that I cracked myself up when I wrote it down, because the letter was B, and it said, and the thing was cold, and you get multiple points if you use alliteration, correctly. So I just put bad bitches. Made me laugh.
You're no Joel.
No, you're not. And he is a rare treat.
All right, let's get into the movies. All right. So, Die Hard, Christmas action movies.
Yes, the only real Christmas movie.
So this was 1988, starred Bruce Willis as Officer John McClane, Bonnie Bedelia as Holly Gennaro McClane, and Reginald VelJohnson of
Family Matters.
Family Matters. I almost said Family Ties, so that would have been entertaining too.
If you'd have played the guy that Michael Keaton worked with at the station.
And Michael C. Gross as Reginald VelJohnson as
Alan Rickman in his film debut.
And that is a little known fact that people don't realize. That was his film debut. You're absolutely correct.
Nice.
And he was amazing.
Yes, he was.
Who doesn't love Alan Rickman?
My mom has a weird crush on him, like weird, creepy crush on him.
Alexander Goodunov as the tall blonde dude who was
Carl. Yeah.
Carl, yeah.
He has a name.
He was also the ballet
Alex
dancer.
Paulson. What? Robert Paulson.
He was a ballet dancer.
He was?
Yeah.
He was in the Money Pit.
Yeah.
I was actually sitting there thinking about that when he's fighting Bruce Willis. I was like, this guy's range is so good. He can play this badass guy who's kicking ass, and he can also play like a conductor of an orchestra. who, as far as I know, they don't kick any ass.
One of my favorite character actors is also pretty far down the cast list on this, Al Leong.
Oh, yeah. I like that guy.
Pretty much that shit's going down if either Al Leong or Danny Trejo is on the scene.
Yeah. Well, Danny Trejo's starting to get out of that a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget they had a character named Argyle.
Played by Deborah White.
Yes, I can't think of his name, but just the name Argyle is a winner chicken dinner situation.
And then there was also I want to give an honorable mention to the woman in the airport wearing the white skin tight pants that jumped on the guy and wrapped her legs around him.
Yoga pants before their time.
Yes.
It really doesn't take much for you, does it, Pat?
No.
Okay.
Pat's like,
I don't even have a joke for that. I just know it. Really
I'm just like,
Pat's like, she looked at me.
I'm like, hey.
She must want me. Anyway,
all right. So.
I actually talked about that in one of my stand-up gigs about how I'll be making a sandwich and I'll stick the knife in the mayonnaise and be like, yeah, take it. Wait, what?
Yeah. All right, so Die Hard. New York City detective John McClane becomes the only hope for a small group of hostages, one of whom is his estranged wife, trapped in a Los Angeles high-rise office building
Nakatomi
when
Town.
it is seized by terrorists on Christmas Eve.
Hans Gruber.
Yes.
But they weren't even terrorists.
No.
Nope. They were just high-tech bank robbers. Incidentally,
a common thief.
Before we decided to do this, this has been my Christmas movie for at least the last 6 years. I don't know what took me so long to realize it, but like about 6 years ago, looking for something to watch on Christmas, I'm like, I don't want the usual crap. And I was like, Die Hard. And I put in Die Hard, and ever since then, I watch it every year. So it was tradition. So, yes.
All right. Well, going through the trivia, John McTiernan was originally going to make Commando 2, but Schwarzenegger turned the role down, and Commando 2 was then transformed into this movie.
Really? I didn't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's based
why
on
would you turn down Commando 2? Commando 1 was perfect.
It was.
I guess that's why.
He couldn't get any better.
Yeah, well, how can you improve on it? Really?
Well, the part was eventually offered to Bruce Willis after it was turned down by Sylvester Stallone, Burt Reynolds, which would have been a really weird movie.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, and get this one, Richard Gere.
Huh.
Hey,
why is it in every action movie? In every action movie,
motherfucker. Yeah.
In every action movie, you almost always read that Richard Gere was under consideration for the role. He's like never ever been in an action movie, but he's considered for every role. Like, why does Hollywood think he should be an action star?
He's not. It's just Richard Gere is on the internet right now on IMDb, adding that he was thought about for every single episode. Yeah. Gone with the Wind, man. They were going to give me that part.
That's what his agent is doing for him.
Well,
yes.
Are you going to talk about Nothing Lasts Forever? As one of your trivia things?
Obviously not, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Roderick Thorpe wrote a book called The Detective. The Detective was made into a movie with Frank Sinatra. The movie was about a detective that then they made a sequel to the book called Nothing Lasts Forever, in which the character, Leland, was trapped in an oil corporation skyscraper by German terrorists. They adapted it into Die Hard, in which the name of Joe Leland, the detective, was changed to John McClane. Sinatra went into Bruce Willis, and that didn't sound good. And they changed some other facts around. But basically, there's a prequel to this movie starring Frank Sinatra in the role that later became Bruce Willis's.
And I've seen that movie. Actually, a pretty good
The
movie.
Detective from 1968.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Fun fact.
Because, I mean, it was actually really groundbreaking for its time because it investigated the death of a homosexual man, and it treated it like, and it had the balls to treat him like he wasn't a degenerate and everything, and like he was just a normal person that got killed. And a lot of people got up in arms about that they didn't, portray the seedy underbelly enough.
Nice.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, well, the Hungarian title is Give Your Life Expensive.
What?
The title of the sequel is Your Life is More Expensive. And Die Hard 3 is The Life is Always Expensive.
Nice.
Now, the line in there, Hans, Bubby, where he says that, apparently was ad-libbed, and Alan Rickman's look of confusion is completely true. Because he was like... So he had no idea what was going on.
They don't do a lot of Yiddish in Germany anymore for some reason.
And to show what a hardworking man
Bruce ignore that one,
was, Mike? I'm totally missing that one on you. Bruce Willis was actually shooting Moonlighting concurrently with this movie, so that's why everything takes place at night. Because he would shoot Moonlighting during the day, and then at night he would come and he would do Die Hard.
I love the line.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say,
go ahead.
In between, he'd stop to shoot a commercial for Seagram's Golden Wine Coolers.
It's red and it's dry. My. I have both his albums. But anyway, I love the line in there where the detective is outside and Reginald L. Johnson is talking to him about how I've got a hunch. I think he's a cop. And the guy's like, for all we know, he's a bartender. And which incidentally was what Bruce Willis was before he became an actor.
Yep.
Very cool.
Very funny.
And on Alan Rickman's on Alan Rickman's first day of shooting, he filmed the scene where Hans Gruber runs into John McClane. He made a jump off the ledge about 3 feet high, promptly injured his knee when he landed and damaged the cartilage in his knee. Told by his doctor not to put any weight on that leg and had to use crutches for a week. For the rest of the scene where Hans Gruber is standing and talking to John McClane, Alan Rickman is standing on one leg and has a leg brace on under his pants.
Huh.
Wow.
So that kind of parallel with the Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, where Sean Connery does a whole scene with no pants on.
What?
You don't know about that?
No.
No. When Indiana Jones comes and rescues his dad, and he they had that whole scene in the castle. Apparently, it was so hot that Sean Connery just took off his pants because he's in that tweed suit. So he's like, are you going to show me below the waist? No. Well, I'm taking off my pants. He was so hot.
And who's going to tell him no?
Exactly. Who's going to say no? Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever.
This tweed is sweaty.
All right. So roundabout, favorite scene in the movie.
That's a good question. I had never really thought about that. I honestly would have to say when he crawls into the bathroom and like that trail of blood is falling behind because he just had to run through all the broken glass. Because I remember seeing this movie in the theater, and that was the first time I remember like actually feeling real empathy and like cringing for a character in a movie, but just being like, oh, gee, I mean, that was like the first time I ever like really got, affected, I guess, for lack of a better word, by something in a movie.
Yeah.
Where it was more than just me watching something and I actually like reacted to it,
That first kind of, yeah. I know when he was running, you could almost hear, the glass going into his feet.
Because do you understand what I'm saying? Because you could watch Commando as a kid, and Arnold impales a guy with a 16-inch knife into a tree, and you're just like, But this was the first time I was like, oh, that's real pain right there,
He also impaled him with a steam pipe, and then steam shot out.
Yeah. Stick around. Oh, no. Let off some steam. That's what it was.
Right?
Let off some steam, Bennett.
Have some laughs. No, my favorite scene is the end scene with Hans when he's falling out the window. Because at the time, that's just an amazing shot.
Yeah.
It's not what it looks like, but just watching it, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that really catches the fear of all of a sudden realizing you're falling to your death.
Yeah. Hope that wasn't one of the hostages.
Right. Great. Another line from the movie.
Yep.
I think my favorite scene is probably right at the beginning when the plan for the heist to take over Nakatomi Plaza starts. You see the van arriving in the basement, and Theo is talking about basketball heading in right before... No, he's talking about football.
No, it's basketball because he was talking about the Lakers. Yeah. Magic passes to Worthy and Worthy.
You're right. Yep. It was basketball. But I was in awe of their plan up until obviously John McClane gets involved. Because
if McClane isn't there, that plan goes off without a hitch.
Yeah.
And it would have worked. The blow on the roof and them thinking they're dead and everything. It would have worked.
Don't forget Argyle. Yeah. He had a hand in it. Hey, he rammed that ambulance hard.
Yeah,
if Bruce Willis isn't there, Argyle's not there either, So.
That's true.
Stop raining on my parade.
I'm kind of sad that they didn't bring Argyle back in all the other movies, man. That would have been great. John McClane and his sidekick Argyle.
I wouldn't have watched
it. Like the new short round.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
I still love the scene where he drops the chair of computer parts and C4 down the elevator shaft, man.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, because it's like when that thing goes down. And remember the first time I saw it, Pat. Well, I'm with you with the whole, feeling it. It's like when he looks down that thing down the elevator shaft and sees that explosion coming.
Yeah.
And for a split second in his face, he's like, "This was a bad idea."
I immediately regret this decision.
Exactly. When he's going to jump off the building, he's like, "Please don't die! Please don't die!" This is a bad idea, John.
Oh, that is another great scene where he has the fire hose around his waist.
He's safe, and then suddenly he starts getting pulled out of the window again by the fire. Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, that's a great sequence there, start to finish.
That sequence reminds me a lot of Indiana Jones and the Temple of, and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, because I remember that was the first movie I ever recall noticing that the tempo never really even slowed down. Every time you thought something was done, something else would happen, and you're like, you never got a chance to rest, and that scene reminded me of that, So.
Which reminds me of another shot where Johnson and Johnson are flying in the helicopters, and Johnson's like, doesn't this remind you of being in Vietnam or whatever? He's talking about Vietnam, and the other guy's like, I was in grade school, dickhead. It just summed up their relationship perfectly.
And Black Johnson is actually not so bad of a guy, whereas White Johnson is just a complete dick.
They had a lot of those little almost cameo parts. They didn't get much screen time, but they managed to really impress you with their characters. I felt that way about Theo as well, the terrorist's hacker.
Yeah. That's one of the notes I wrote on this. I said they did a very good job of setting up individual characters quickly with very little exposition.
Mm-hmm.
The police.
I mean, they showed their personalities really well. I mean, it just and very quickly without being too clunky about it. You know. I mean, it's a well-written movie. It really is.
It was. I mean, and it is like what you said with almost like Temple of Doom, where every single time you think you can take a breath, the shit hits the fan again.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, and I think the biggest point is where I started, like, almost when I was at the theater to see it, when I was screaming and yelling, wanted to scream and yell, was when the one business guy, Hans, Bubby, when he comes to talk to, and I was with McLean in this, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he's gonna shoot you.
And like, this being that this movie being filmed in the 80s, wasn't that role supposed to be filmed by Judge Reinhold?
Yeah, for us.
He was busy. He was busy at the time.
He was being an asshole in the movie. It still gets me every time Hans shoots Nakatomi. Or not Nakatomi, what's his name?
Tagaki.
Yeah.
I mean, he just shoots him cold, right in the head. And every time, it shocks me.
Okay, here's something about that. In the trivia, it says that they had to cut away from Alan Rickman's face every time they shot a gun because Rickman could not stop flinching every time a gunshot went off. So, but if you look, you can see Rickman's face apparently in a reflection, I think, when he shoots Takagi.
Takagi, that's it, Takagi.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to recognize it if I heard it, but I couldn't come up with it.
You can see him wince when the gunshot goes off.
I'm a big fan of James Shigeta, who played Takagi. He's been in so many things over the years. That's another one of those really standout, quickly established character parts. He was a General...
In General So's Chicken?
Movie? General Lee in Mulan. In the Babylon 5, he was Taro Isogi. He's a very famous character actor. Done a million little parts.
So. I'm looking him up right now. James Shigeta?
Yeah.
Yeah, a very respectable actor, yeah.
Yeah, definitely recognize him. Mulan, yeah.
Two things that I noticed in this movie early on. The first one was John McClane just lighting up a cigarette in L.A. airport as he's waiting for the baggage.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, those were the days when the only place in the world you couldn't smoke was an airplane. Nowadays, you can't smoke anywhere but your house, and they're even trying to take that away.
They're taking that away. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, when you're done.
The other thing that just kind of, for some reason, I don't know why, it just kind of cracked me up a little bit, but when he first shows up and he's searching for Holly on that little, the monitor, he's searching for her name, and he then looks up and finds out she's using her maiden name. And he goes, 30th floor. And the security guy says, oh, yeah, the Christmas party. They're the only people in the building. Why wouldn't you just tell him that from the beginning? Oh, right. You must be here for the party that's up on the 30th floor.
Where the only people are.
People are, yeah.
Yeah, like, I know that there's nobody else in this building, but I'm going to make you look this name up because I'm an asshole.
OEO.
I mean, we all know it was for exposition purposes, but it would just made me laugh.
Here's a fun fact. I consider Chow Yun-fat the Chinese Bruce Willis. And you were talking about how Alan Rickman is scared of guns, and so he's flinching, so they didn't show him. Chow Yun-fat has the same problem. He
flinches every time he sees Alan Rickman.
He's definitely afraid of guns. So in all his action movies, he's always holding them as far out as possible and flinches every time he shoots.
But you just can't tell because he's Asian.
Wow.
Pat, I set that up, and I didn't mean to.
You took the words right out of my mouth, yes. Josh. Wow. Hey, did we mention Pat's from Texas?
And I'm in Arkansas, so it's kind of doubled.
Yeah. Arkansas, man. We drive to Florida, man. I told the family, if we hit Arkansas, we're going straight through. we're waking up in Florida. I'm not sleeping in Arkansas. That place is scary. To any of our listeners from Arkansas, I love you.
I mean, it's beautiful country. It really is.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It is.
It's gorgeous, man.
But, they sell
Speaking of
internet by
Texas,
the bucket.
I don't know if you guys remember Walker, Texas Ranger.
Dollar
yeah.
taxes.
Well, you remember James Trevette, his sidekick?
Yeah.
That was Theo, the hacker.
Really?
Same actor.
Really?
Wow. Fascinating.
And Paul Gleason. Oh, that's that. You know why they didn't have God, who's a douchebag?
Pat.
Judge Reinhold?
Besides that,
Me.
Judge Reinhold. Why they didn't have Judge Reinhold? It's because they had Paul Gleason.
Yeah. And he's good.
Yeah.
They would have had Jackie Gleason. That would have been weird since he's dead.
They did have him. He was in an ashtray.
I was there for you, Mike.
To the moon, Michael.
Yeah, so they had him there as the police.
I'm sorry, I'm still imagining Bo and Luke Duke riding Takagi around Hazard County.
I knew it, him and Joel.
I can't get it out of my head.
I knew that's what you were thinking earlier, and I was like, don't.
Yeehaw!
As soon as he said he played General Lee, I hear Joel back going, like, no.
It makes me laugh.
He's got no doors shut.
They have to crawl in through the windows because the doors are shut. Those damn foreign-made cars.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's Christmas action for you folks.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho,
Oh.
ho.
Great bit.
That's awesome.
I mean, I got to say, like I said, the writing of this movie and the idea of just having him talk to himself throughout the whole movie was just brilliant. Because his inner monologue being outer and it was just so funny, and just he's so good at it, Bruce Willis.
That's the thing. Bruce Willis is really good at that sort of like, what am I doing here type conversations with himself. The guy Jeb Stewart, he was a screenwriter. He did The Fugitive and Die Hard.
Movies I really love.
Leviathan.
It's a great movie with the duck-faced monster.
Oh, yeah, that's on Netflix right now. I got to watch that. He also did Lock Up with Sylvester Stallone.
Oof.
Another 48 Hours. Yeah.
Well, I like some of his movies.
He had some good stuff. I like
his
but
a lot.
The Fugitive, that's
his
good.
misses are definitely misses, but his hits are pretty good.
I love The Fugitive.
I do
Let's
too.
see.
That's one of those movies. If I'm like flipping channels and I see it, I stop every time.
It's like getting even with Dad, Pat.
Okay, here's where the rest of it came in. The other screenwriter, Stephen E. D'Souza. Die Hard, Commando, Die Hard 2, The Running Man. Geez.
Some great aged cheese there.
Yeah.
Oh, Hudson Hawk.
Shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
Oh,
I saw that in the theater.
I said was did was invoke the name.
Except David Crusoe.
Do not get me started on that movie because I've had so many arguments with people about that movie. I hate that movie so much.
Yeah.
It's not whether or not you hate it; it's how much you hate it.
That movie is just so.
Would you like
Moonbeams home in a jar? Danny Aiello, come on!
I do have those songs on my iPod. I do love the soundtrack, but Sandra Bernhardt and the other guy, I can't think of his name, Alan Cumming as the villains, were just ridiculous. Not even. Like scenery chewing, over the top, stupid, and just not even fun, and just way too ridiculous. And their plot was dumb, and so many stupid things. And I hate it.
Unlike Sir Laurence Olivier's Commando.
Yes. See, this is a situation where the movie it's greater than the sum of its parts because you've got these writers.
With that, you got to look at it from this point. You got to like tongue in cheek.
No, I'm not talking about Hudson Hawk now. I'm talking about Die Hard. Remember this movie we watched for the show?
Oh, well, sorry. You got somebody.
If you want,
Hawk got me started. So I'll.
If you want to, yeah, I know. We know that's the trigger word for you.
It is.
But the director, it did Predator, Die Hard, Hunt for Red October, Medicine Man, Last Action Hero, awesomeness. What?
Oh, I hated Last Action Hero.
Yeah, I'm with
really?
you.
Pat's heard. That's one of my trigger words.
Yeah. I do not.
Well,
I've heard his rant.
Here we go again, folks.
The first 10 minutes were interesting, and then it just went to crap.
Yeah,
Niagara Falls.
It was great, but yeah, the execution not so good.
Okay, we'll go past that. Die Hard with a Vengeance, 13th Warrior, The Thomas Crown Affair.
Warrior, I love that movie.
The remake.
Yeah, it's very good.
The remake of Rollerball and Basic. What was Basic?
Basic was the John Travolta.
They were all
there's somebody's murdered over here and she was raped by the... Oh, wait, that was the general's daughter. Wrong movie, sorry. I turned into Rodney Dangerfield a little bit. I get no respect. I don't know what the hell happened. John Travolta turned into Rodney Dangerfield.
I was so excited watching this movie again for the first time in a while, seeing them use the drill, because I have been playing Payday 2, a video game about robbing banks, and the thermal drill is like a basic tool for drilling bank vaults. I was like, oh my god, I've been using the same drill that they're using in Die Hard for like the last 3 days.
What's this game?
That's
Payday?
Awesome.
Yeah, Payday 2.
Payday. You would love this game, Pat, because it's a heist game where you're playing the heist. You have to get in, rob the bank, and get out.
As soon as you said bank robbing, I'm like, what? What game?
Yeah, the problem is it's a first-person view,
it is first
so you would never enjoy it because you'd be on the floor vomiting on yourself. Yeah.
I mean, basically, the idea is you're supposed to be able to, with 3 of your friends, plan this awesome heist, and maybe the cops get called at the end. What really happens is you fuck up the heist in the first 5 minutes, and then it's like basically playing a zombie shooting game, except instead of zombies, it's cops.
So basically, it's Shadowrun.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Josh, I have a great idea. We have to capture the 4 of us playing Payday together, because I'm sure
it'd be awesome.
All the voice chat alone would be worth it.
We play Snickers.
That would be a lot of fun.
I bought it because it was 55% off, and then is for Steam? Like the next 14 and a half hours on Steam. Yeah.
I'm on it. Awesome. All right. Well, round table. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm assuming it's all thumbs up for you guys.
Oh, yeah, totally. Easily.
To quote Jay, 3 thumbs up.
Now, the only time this movie ever made me, upset with the incompetent, evil villain people was when they were chasing John McClane and they had him located in the vents, and all they did was just, shoot, 12, 14 bullets. So it's like the bullets are not made of gold. Just riddle the air vents with bullets, and you'll get him.
Right, they were willing to shoot all the glass.
Yeah, I mean, he's going around just poking each one of them. I'm like, no, just shoot everything. You want to kill this guy. He killed your brother. That was the only time I ever had a problem with him, dumbing down a villain.
The whole most of the dumbing down was on the side of the people outside Nakatomi Plaza.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, this must be a crank call. All we heard was rapid-fire machine gun.
Yeah. Or, okay, before we go, when the LA SWAT team member sticks himself on a thorn.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know.
That was random.
Why did they show that? That was so funny. It was weird that they showed that, though.
So,
all right. I thought they were going to do something else with it. I remember that, the one time I saw it, that kind of stuck with me. I was like,
for all we know, it was just the actor. They had him on there. He actually did get stuck, and they decided to leave it in.
And they're like, "This is too funny. Look at this guy being a pussy. We got to put it in the movie."
Yeah.
They should have hired Inigo Montoya because, I mean, if they really wanted to get him, just tell him that he killed his father.
All right, folks, we're taking a break. I'm going to drive out and have a conversation with Joel, and we'll have some music here in just a moment. See you in a little bit. Welcome back, folks. We're back from the break, and I hope you enjoyed that music.
Yay!
Yay!
Not to be confused with that song, which you played last week. We are now stepping into
that's now my
Kiss,
ringtone.
Kiss, Bang,
that
Bang.
song.
That song?
Yeah.
Pew pew.
Stop saying that. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang.
It makes me laugh, so he's going to keep saying it.
Was released in September of 2005, and I have no idea how I did not see this movie until the most recent past.
I know, right?
Today was literally the first time I've seen this movie.
I just love this movie so much.
This was. I mean, I remember seeing it, and like, oh, okay, Val Kilmer. I got Robert Downey Jr. and it piqued my interest, but for some reason, I never went through watching it, and I really regret not watching it the first time I had a chance to.
Well, I remember when it first came out, and I remember seeing the trailers and thinking, I really want to see that. And then it got panned badly, and so I just was like, maybe I won't, and I just never made an effort to see it. That was basically it.
It's gained a major cult status in its second life on video.
Oh yeah, I can totally see why. Well, for those of you that don't know about this movie, it is called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Came out in 2005. This is gonna.
Last time, I promise.
Just keep going.
Yeah, okay, whatever. A murder mystery brings together a private eye, a struggling actress, and a thief masquerading as an actor. It's starring Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, Michelle Monaghan, and Corbin Burnson. I mean,
or as we call her, Cutie McHotterson.
Yes.
Yeah. Dash Mihok as Mr. Frying Pan. But no, this is. You would think just the Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer thing alone would make me sit down and watch it.
Well, this was
because I'm a huge fan of both of them.
Yeah, me too. But this was kind of when during Val Kilmer's like anti-good guy. He was just kind of a Hollywood poison, and so
he was on his way back. He was on his slow climb back to being who he is now. But let's start out with. Let's give some credit. He's a multi-million, mega, giant, super box office draw. Let's give Shane Black a little credit, first of all, because for those of you who don't know who Shane Black is, he was a writer-director of this movie, but you may remember him from his writing credits such as Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3, Lethal Weapon 4, The Monster Squad, The Last Boy Scout, The Last Action Hero, The Long Kiss Goodnight, 3. And Iron Man 3 most recently. I mean, the guy...
And he's writing a Doc Savage movie?
Yeah. The guy is, need we say, prolifically brilliant with action movies that are not too much brain power, but still smart enough to keep you interested. No, I mean, literally, it's not like, it's like a James Bond.
Right, they're not Memento, but, yeah.
But they're fun, they're quotable, and you want to rewatch them more than once.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I mean, this is again one of those. I watched it with Suzanne, and even she turned to me after we watched it and was like, "Why haven't we seen this until now?" For those of you that don't know the plot, Robert Downey Jr. plays a small-time crook, running from a botched break-in to a toy store. And he winds up in a casting call for a thief. So they want him to do a reading of his his partner getting killed?
Yeah, well, it sounds like the part he was reading for was actually a private eye.
Okay.
Which is how he got
either
hooked
way,
up with
his
gay. What was the Gay Perry? Yeah.
So he winds up getting cast for this and sent over to Val Kilmer, who plays Gay Perry, a private investigator in Hollywood, and he's supposed to teach Robert Downey Jr. the ropes. And just that alone sounds great.
I mean, this might be my two favorite roles for those actors. Just the quintessential fuck up that Robert Downey Jr. is, and Val Kilmer playing a flamboyantly gay PI who is also an ultra badass.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he was that flamboyant.
More so than
he would fully embrace it if he needed, if like the moment called for it. But he wasn't like.
Well, like the scene where they're tied up and he's egging on the tormentor guy when he's tied up to get him close enough to shoot him.
Yeah,
he's going pretty over the top. But that that scene where Robert Downey Jr. first goes into the casting office and he's just been shot lightly and he's acting. I mean, that whole scene is brilliant. And all the interplay between him and Kilmer just is phenomenal. You could just watch them go back and forth for 2 hours and I would have been fine.
Yeah, how he just over and over just keeps finding new ways to call him an idiot.
Oh, God, yeah. And Perry had a lot of great quotes in that one. It's like, you don't get it, do you? This isn't good cop, bad cop. This is fag and New Yorker. You're in a lot of trouble.
Just everything Robert Downey Jr. does turns to shit. He finds like 3 different ways to not get the girl. His every instinct is wrong. He's tough when he shouldn't be tough. Oh God, I just love those 2 characters so much.
When he just outright shoots the guy right in the head. when he tries to play Russian roulette with him.
Gets him with the first bullet.
Check your math.
Who taught you math?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the interaction between those 2 is hilarious every single time they're on. When he finds out that his girlfriend, the girl that he knew from back home, committed suicide. I mean, even that is sickly funny because you can tell that Harry just doesn't give a shit. And he's only saying these things because that is what you say at this time when something happens to a person.
Well, yeah, but Perry was friends with Melody as well. But it was just kind of like
Harmony.
Harmony, yeah. Get off my car.
Yeah, I have to go. I eventually just pushes him off the car. You don't understand. I have to go.
What about the whole bit in the bar where they keep talking about all the different people that are there using it's Native American Joe Pesci,
Yeah.
That was funny.
That whole game and the actors they got that looked just like him.
Yeah.
Like what they described. Yeah. What was it? New Age Steven Seagal or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
Yeah, New Age Steven Seagal, and you got the one the
Native American Joe Pesci.
Native American Joe Pesci. What was the other one?
There were several. They did it for a while.
Yeah, there was the first one. I can't recall because she starts the game.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. Anyway, yeah. When it first started, and he started doing the asides and stopping the frame and talking about I'm your narrator and all this stuff, I thought it was going to, I was like, oh, this is going to get really annoying. It's going to get so coy and everything and blah, blah. But it never really did. It was just kind of interesting, Robert Downey Jr. has enough charisma to pull that off.
Yeah, he didn't overplay it.
Right.
And then go ahead.
I was going to say, it's a hard-boiled detective story from the perspective of a guy who isn't a detective, and his getting caught up in the mystery isn't as a result of any positive action. He pretty much the story happens to him.
Yeah, he just keeps stumbling across everything. He's almost like a Mr. Magoo character.
It was, so what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm retired. I invented dice when I was a kid. Yeah. What do you do?
That whole bit about L.A. women being completely broken and how superficial they are. I mean, yeah, those little bits where he keeps coming up with different things he does just because it's fun almost at that point.
And everybody I know that's ever lived in L.A. says so many of the women are like that. It's ridiculous. That's their opening line. What do you drive?
Great stuff. Or what about the scene? I think one of my favorite scenes that sold me on it when I originally saw it was when the car jumps up over into the lake. He swims down he shoots the lock to open up the trunk. He brings a dead body up, and they're having that back and forth banter. And then the guys with the ski mask show up, and then he points out that he shot her in the head. So she may not have been dead when she from the broken neck. It could have been that he shot her in the head. Oh, that whole bit.
Talking monkey? Yeah. Game from the future. Ugly sucker. Only says ficus.
We're quoting the movie people haven't seen.
Yeah. You guys, I mean, honestly, listeners, this movie should not be passed up.
I mean, I really like the way they did a lot of send-ups of, the old Sam Spade, detective type of thing. Like when he's describing, how he met up with her and she hired him, telling her, oh yeah, I met her at the door naked and all this kind of stuff. He's really? He's like, no, stupid. She hired me over the internet. just the send up of that whole idea of the PI.
Yeah.
It was like a modern day take on that, basically,
right?
But from a slightly different perspective.
It's everyone. I'm sorry. I'm remembering. The thing is one thing that's going to drive me nuts about this movie is that it is so quotable that you have all these quotes from the movie, like "Don't quit your gay job." Everybody who hates Harry, raise their hand. That sort of thing.
And when he says obedient bitches too, and someone throws a glass at his head and he just effortlessly ducks it.
That was
he just knew it was coming from someone, yeah.
And all the quotes, stop multiplying. All these great, and the thing is, the movie didn't get enough viewing for these quotes to be used in public and actually understood.
Yeah.
I mean, let's compare it to the Die Hard thing. I mean, you could say yippee-ki-yay to somebody and they know exactly where you're going with it. You can't. I'm aggravated that more people have not seen this movie.
But I actually kind of myself. I'm sorry, Josh. I myself like it, a movie like this, kind of to use almost like a barometer for who will get me and who won't. You throw something out like that, and if somebody looks at you and they get it and they know it, you're like, oh wow, that's.
Yeah.
I do that kind of stuff all the time just to see who's going to catch anything I say. So I like movies like that where only certain people are going to catch it.
Talk about two protagonists that could not be more different in our two films. From John McClane, who maybe everything doesn't go right for him, but just in general, he has the agency in the movie. He does things, he makes things happen, and he's the one guy who's got his shit together and can take down the bad guys. In Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Harry Lockhart, who bumbles stuff that he shouldn't possibly be able to fuck up. He ends up almost getting with his childhood sweetheart, and at the last minute audibling over to her homely friend who he doesn't even like.
Yeah, that
was funny when he woke up in bed with her. Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, it's a comparison. Like John McClane, all the bad things happen to him. And with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, all the bad things happen because of him.
Right.
And he doesn't really have that. I was going to say he doesn't really have that badass moment until he's at the end when he falls onto the coffin, grabs the dead person's hand. The whole gun bit where he shoots Corbin Burnson. Thank God.
Mr. Fucking Magic.
And then he falls onto the car. That whole bit there, that's when he turns into a badass for a brief shining moment. But for the rest of the movie, yeah, he's the opposite.
Well, it's kind of like, what I just said about Die Hard earlier, everything would have been perfect, and if John McClane isn't there, it's an entirely different scenario. Whereas in this movie, if he's not there, things are just going to go fine, and things almost happen anyway because, despite him being there doing anything, So it's only by a whole bunch of just magical luck that he ends up stopping everything.
So
and Gay Perry.
Well, yeah, but the thing that cracked the case was him looking up a dead girl's skirt and noticing she didn't have any panties.
Yeah.
Good point.
I should be a detective, I think.
You want to look up dead girls' skirts?
No, just with all the looking up of skirts I do, well, maybe I should use that for good.
Get paid for it.
Yeah, that's right. So here's some trivia.
You're not Japanese.
Who did the voice of the bear?
Oh, I don't know this.
Pew pew.
Lawrence Fishburne.
What?
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. What do I know? I'm a bear. I eat the heads off fish. That's
odd.
Yeah.
Oh, it sure is.
Val Kilmer refused to drink during the entire production of the movie to support Robert Downey Jr. because this is right on his way back, on his amazing rebound from the very bottom. I mean, you want a rebound story right there. Robert Downey Jr. is it. It was given a standing ovation at Cannes. Cannes, whatever, prick. The movie. Val Kilmer met Robert Downey Jr. for the first time at a Hollywood party, and a week later, he received the screenplay for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. and agreed to do it before he finished reading it, and on reading it, upon agreeing, he was informed that Robert Downey Jr. had been cast. So, Val Kilmer had to quickly lose the 50 pounds he gained for his role in Oliver Stone's Alexander in 2004 to fit to play Gay Perry, which thereupon he slowly began to gain that back.
Plus another 50.
And, yeah. Man, what was that comedy movie that he was in?
Top Secret?
MacGruber. Well, yeah, no, that one too. The most recent, MacGruber. Have you in that one? I didn't even recognize him in the MacGruber.
Who? Val Kilmer?
Val Kilmer, man.
He was in MacGruber?
Apparently,
he's the bad guy in MacGruber.
Oh, yeah,
Apparently,
he was. That's right.
Yeah, MacGruber. He was the
after
bad guy.
doing the Lion in the Dark, he decided to go from Kilmer to Brando. Or was that the Island of Dr. Moreau? Sorry, wrong movie.
People thought about for this movie before Robert Downey Jr. Hugh Grant.
What?
Oh, that
Benicio del Toro.
What?
I could see that.
See, I could see it, but it wouldn't be.
No.
Benicio del Toro is too badass-ish, and he would pull too much. I couldn't buy him screwing up as much as I could buy Robert Downey Jr. screwing up.
You, sir, have never seen The Way of the Gun.
I have not. It is now on my list, though.
Yes, you should.
Good movie.
He plays a
Good
fuck-up
movie.
in that movie.
All right. Johnny Knoxville was also set to be Harry Lockhart.
Would have been a different movie.
Which would have been a completely different movie. I don't think I would have liked it then.
Speaking of which, he was in the remake of The Dukes of Hazzard with Jenna Lee.
Yes, he was. And then in the Christmas party scene where it takes place in a club exhibiting living art, which is the one where all the girls in the boxes. Yeah. At one point in his life, Robert Downey Jr. worked in that club.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
In one of the boxes.
Yeah.
What's in the box?
He was the other reindeer.
What's in the box? Pew pew.
So I think the upshot here is if you have not seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, you're really missing out.
Yeah, you are.
I'd forgotten this was a holiday tale, and I own this. I remember loving it the first time, but seeing it again today, it's like, why did I wait so long to watch this again? It's such a good movie.
I own it as well.
Yeah.
And I had the same reaction when I put it in to watch it. I was like, why is it still sitting downstairs? Why haven't I watched it more before this? It's been at least a couple of years.
And I know that in about a month or so, I'm probably going to sit and watch this again.
Well, I think this is gonna go into my rotation of like the Die Hard, Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon. That revolution of movies that I watch. It's like you want a good, fun action movie. This is definitely going into that category.
You just named 3 out of 4 Shane Black movies.
Well, there you go. All right, let me.
Why don't you marry him?
Yeah.
Because I'm already married.
That's not an excuse.
Move to Utah.
Yeah.
No. I've seen
No
Utah.
Culver. No.
Yeah, no. You brought up Utah. That's it. So what do you think? Round table. Thumbs up all around on this one?
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised it's only getting 7 stars out of 10 on IMDb. What about tomatoes?
I'd say thumbs up.
Yeah.
Abs, the Smurfing movie.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. And again, folks, all this I think are all echoing this sentiment on this movie that if you have not seen this movie, you need to see it now, just because it is a lot better than you think.
It's well done and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a
Kiss,
movie.
Kiss, Bang, Bang. According to the Rotten Tomatoes, 84%.
See that? Well,
That's the reviews.
yeah, that's about
Audience
same.
was 87%.
Yeah.
I would say
So.
84 would be about right, like an 8.4 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I gotta say me too, because that's just
I don't give
just fun to watch.
A 10. So.
Well,
so what are we talking about next week?
Next week, we are looking into the future for the new year. We are going to bring you guys the latest in remakes and rehashes and reboots. We're looking into 2014, and we're letting you guys know what we're looking forward to. So in movies and TV and music and video games, what remakes are coming around the corner and what you can expect to see in the next year. Also, we're hoping to get a call from you guys. Hoping that somebody call us, leave us a message. And what's that number, Josh?
That's 708-NOW-RAP. NOWWRAP. I can spell.
In Cincinnati.
And if you want to call, if you don't want to talk to us, you can always email us at 40go14@gmail.com. You can go to 40go14.com. Something wrong with my lips today.
40go
Yeah, baby. 40go14.com. And you can also find us on Stitcher, Blueberry, iTunes. And please leave us some rating and a comment there. And also, you can find all our updates and things on our Facebook page. So you just look for 40 going on 14 on Facebook.
Yeah, we are almost to 1,000 fans on Facebook. And we're going to try and cook up something special for the 1,000th. So keep your eyes there.
So there you go, folks. And I'm Mike, and I'm going to say good night to you folks. And you have a good New Year's.
Patrick, also, I guess, have a good New Year's as well.
Good night, you filthy animals.
Yeah.
Pew, pew.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I know.
I am. I'm going to touch your butt.
Through Facebook.
Through Facebook, yes.
It's going to be a poke.